the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. More than 400 years ago, a great citizen wished to embed the 5th of November forever in our memory. His hope was to remind the world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words. They are perspectives. So if you've seen nothing, if the crimes of this government remain unknown to you, then I would suggest that you allow the 5th of November to pass unmarked. But if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, and if you would seek as I seek, then I ask you to stand beside me 1 year from tonight, outside the gates of Parliament, and together we shall give them a 5th of November that shall never, ever be forgotten.
Michael Badnarik is a constitutional scholar, author, and teacher. He's a longtime political activist and privacy advocate. He has developed computer programs to simulate nuclear power plants and the stealth bomber. Michael was a Libertarian candidate for Texas House of Representatives in 2000 and 2002, and the Libertarian Party's nominee for President of the United States in 2004. He also ran as a Libertarian in Texas's congressional 10th district in the 2006 general election. He now devotes his time to lighting the fires of liberty by lecturing and teaching an 8-hour class on the Constitution and Bill of Rights. His book, Good to be King, is used as the text for that class. One way or another, Michael is determined to change the course of American politics in the direction of world peace. He has visited with us before, and it is my sincere pleasure to welcome back to the Global Freedom Report, Michael Badnarik. Michael.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This sounds like it's going to be fun this evening.
Yeah, I think it is, and it's such a pleasure to have you. I know it's early. We're fresh off the midterm elections, but is there any chance that we're going to see a Michael Badnarik candidacy in a couple of years?
Oh, absolutely. As soon as Texas secedes from the Union, I start running for president of the Republic of Texas.
Oh, I love that. All right. Our next guest, Eliezer Ben-Joseph, is a board-certified traditional naturopath. He holds degrees of MDMA, which is Medicina Alternativa, and a Doctor of Science from the Open International University for Complementary Medicines in Sri Lanka. He has studied chiropractic and osteopathic medicine in Israel, Ayurvedic medicine in a temple in India, physical therapy in Amsterdam, and lived 2 years in a teepee studying herbology in Northern California. He is also a master herbalist, iridologist, certified raid master, psychological assessment of the iris of the eye, and an instructor in polarity therapy and therapeutic bodywork. He's a certified personal trainer, holistic health instructor, and has taught diet, nutrition, therapeutic bodywork, and personal development for a quarter of a century. On top of all that, Eliezer somehow finds time to host the top-rated Natural Solutions radio talk show on KTSM 690 AM in El Paso, Texas, which has been on the air for 13 years and counting. Dr. Eliezer Ben-Joseph, welcome to the Global Freedom Report.
Well, welcome, and thank you very much for having me. What a pleasure to be here. It sounds like it's going to be a good time.
You have so many degrees that, I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm sitting here reading down this whole laundry list, and I edited a whole bunch of it out just so there would be time. What exactly is MD parenthesis MA, Medicina Alternativa?
Well, in Sri Lanka, they have the largest integrative medical hospital in the world, a 2,300-bed hospital. And they've been issuing degrees in alternative medicine since 1960s, and has been sanctioned by the United Nations. And it is a full degree. It's in acupuncture and Chinese medicine and Oriental medicine and Ayurvedic medicine and traditional science. And when I came back to the United States, though, I decided not to practice as an MD. I would have had my license removed long ago anyway. So I stay as a naturopath. And now, since I was knighted almost a year ago by the Sacred Medical Order of the Knights of Hope, which is part of the Knights Hospitallers, it's a 1,000-year-old medical order. Now I've moved my practice into what's called monastic medicine or pastoral medicine.
Wow.
So it takes us out of that jurisdiction of the medical boards.
Yes,
and
indeed.
separates us from church and state.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Eliezer. Michael Danforth, our third guest, is senior counsel at Shaw Law in Illinois. Previously, he was in private practice and a special Virginia attorney general. He is a licensed attorney in state and federal courts in Illinois and state courts in Virginia. Additionally, he's a certified arbitrator, mediator, and guardian ad litem in Illinois. Michael Danforth, thanks for joining us here on the Global Freedom Report.
Thanks for having me, Brent.
And, Michael, I know that years ago you attended one of my seminars and sat there taking copious notes. And at the time, I believe you worked for in the AG's office in Virginia. And then you went out and checked out to see if anything I was saying was even remotely true. And ultimately, you got out of public life as an attorney and went more into private and helping people out there. Isn't that kind of true?
That is absolutely correct, Brent. Today, my focus of law is primarily suing the federal government. I have a couple of suits that are going to be pending in the next month against the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms for restrictions that they are currently placing on our Second Amendment rights, and have worked in the firearms industry to keep those that manufacture firearms for the general public safe from the law. I would say would be unconstitutional.
All right. You have met our three panelists, Michael Danforth, Michael Badnarik, and Eliezer Ben-Joseph, Dr. Eliezer Ben-Joseph.
Words will always retain their power. Words are for the means to meaning, and for those who listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country. It's the cruelty and injustice, intolerance, depression. And where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance, coercing your conformity and suppressing your submission. Cameras. How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others. They will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you, and in your panic you turned to the now High Chancellor. He promised you order, he promised you peace, and all he demanded in return was your silent, obedient consent.
It's Round Table Day, that once-a-month time when we get a whole bunch of credible people together to discuss the issues that matter most to you and your freedom. It also happens to be Guy Fawkes Day, which is why you're getting all the V for Vendetta film clips, and somehow they seem to fit very nicely in what we are doing. Our guest panelists are constitutional scholar Michael Badnarik, Dr. Eliezer Ben-Joseph, and attorney Michael Danforth. We're going to start off with an election question. The election of 2010 is done. What do you expect from the new House and Senate, and how do you expect Obama to proceed with the new Congress? And I want to start with Michael Badnarik, our constitutional expert. Michael?
I know that we've done a shift away from the blue to the red. I know that there are a lot of people, primarily Tea Party people, who are very excited about that. But as far as any practical changes to the way Congress does business, I don't expect very many at all. I have seen two suggestions. One, that Ron Paul is going to be nominated as Speaker of the House, which would be fantastic, but I don't think that's going to happen, not in a month of Sundays. And the second thing, which may happen, Ron Paul's son, Rand Paul, was successfully elected to the Senate from Kentucky. And now that Ron has his son in Congress, the two of them will be able to second each other's motions. One of the problems that Ron Paul's had is that he would stand up and make a motion, and none of the other members of Congress would have the decency to even second it.
Pardon me, Michael. Except they're in the two different houses. Rand is the Senate, I believe.
Oh, well, duh.
I
Yeah.
know. I was hoping the same thing, except, yeah.
Never mind.
Never mind.
I feel like Rosanna Dana.
But Michael, do you think Obama how do you think he will do what he does with a Congress that is no longer all Democrat?
Obama's just a pretty face. He's articulate. He smiles. He could be a used car salesman anywhere. Because he can smile and, steal your shirts and make you glad to have had it happen. But, basically, Congress is so far gone. They are almost all guilty of treason, and they are going to find a way. They always find a way to get things done. They certainly know things about what is coming and what's planned more than we do. So, they can talk about this and that happening, but, when the economy crashes, all of that's going to become a moot point. People are going to be worried about food. There's an organization, I just got an email yesterday or today talking about the price of food. And a loaf of bread is going to be $40. It's ridiculous. And people say, oh, that's not going to happen. Well, if people go to my website, constitutionpreservation.org, you go to the media link, and I have a lesson on hyperinflation. I had someone loan me a binder with actual money from the Weimar Republic, Germany between World War I and World War II, when they had rampant hyperinflation. I have photograph of a 1 billion mark note. That's 1,000 million marks. And the story is that wouldn't buy dinner.
Yeah, and we also remember seeing those pictures more recently of I think it was a $1 trillion Zimbabwe dollar note. And yeah, it's absolutely correct that this is what's coming. I want to ask the same question of our attorney here. The election of 2010 is finished. Now, you have a bit of a different framework when you look at these things. We now have a House and Senate from different parties. What do you think we can expect from the Congress, and how do you expect Obama to proceed with this new reorganization politically?